Welcome back, students. Let us start with chapter 6, that is life processes. Topics which we have already covered are digestion in animals and plants, respiration in animals and plants, transportation in humans. Topics which we are going to cover today are lymph and lymphatic system, blood circulation in fish, blood circulation in amphibians and reptiles, transport in plants, in that transport of water and minerals, and transport of food. Transport of food we'll see in next video. Let us start with lymphatic system, which also helps in circulation. First, let us recall capillaries, which we have already done in our previous video. The link for the previous video is given in the description below. Walls of capillaries are very thin, so when blood flows through the capillaries, some amount of plasma, proteins and blood cells leaks from blood capillaries into the spaces between tissue. This leaking occurs because of high pressure. As you can see in the diagram, the red arrow shows something is going in the intercellular spaces between tissue cells. These form tissue fluid or lymph. So what does this tissue fluid carry? They carry food and oxygen from the blood to the cells and picks up carbon dioxide and other waste material discarded by the cells. After that, most of the tissue fluid returns back to the blood capillaries. The remaining fluid enters into another type of tiny tubes called lymph capillaries, as you can see in the diagram. From lymph capillaries, lymph passes into larger lymph vessels containing lymph nodes. So now what is lymph node? Lymph is cleaned in lymph node. Lymph node consists of white blood cells. So these white blood cells will kill germs and remove dead cells and other wastes from the lymph. So basically lymph gets cleaned in lymph nodes. After that, lymph will return back to the lymph vessels, which join to form larger venules or veins, as you can see in the diagram. And finally, these veins carry lymph to the heart. So this is how the entire circulation is complete. So now, what is lymph? If we zoom in a lymphatic capillary, a lymph is a light yellow liquid which is somewhat similar to blood plasma, but in lymph, red blood cells are not there, only white blood cells are present in more number. So now can you answer what is lymphatic system? So a system of tiny tubes called lymph vessels and lymph nodes in the human body, which transports lymph from the body tissues to the heart, is called lymphatic system. Here we are completing circulation in human body. Let us see circulation in other vertebrates. The fish has a two-chambered heart, that is one atrium and one ventricle. Heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the gills, which are respiratory organ. Oxygenation occurs in gills, and then from gills, oxygenated blood is supplied to all parts of the body. In most of amphibians and reptiles, they have three-chambered heart. As we recall, mammals and aves gets highly efficient supply of oxygen, which produces lots of energy, as in mammals and aves, mixing of blood does not occur. Now here, amphibians and reptiles have three-chambered heart, that is two atrium and one ventricle. So there is a mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and this reduces the production of energy. Now let us start with transport in plants. Plants do not move, and plant bodies have large proportion of dead cells in many tissues. So the plant cells do not need to be supplied with materials so quickly as with other animals. As we have already seen through photosynthesis and respiration, plants gets carbon dioxide and oxygen directly from air. So what else is remaining? water, mineral ions, and food. Let us see how transport of water and mineral ions occurs in plants. What is the importance of water in plants? They help in making of food by photosynthesis. What is the importance of mineral salts in plants? They help in formation of hormones and certain other components. In a short sapling, transport to all the parts becomes easy. However, transport becomes difficult in tall trees. So then let us see how transport occurs in tall trees. There are two types of conducting tissues, as you have already studied in standard 9th. Xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in conduction of transport of water and minerals from roots to leaves and stem. Phloem helps in conduction of transport of food. Let us see xylem. So the xylem vessels and tracheids are the two components which are non-living conducting tissues which have thick walls. You can see the structure of both in the diagrams. Here, transport occurs unidirectionally. This animation will make it more clear regarding how transport of water and mineral ions will occur. Let us move on to the mechanism of transport. As we know, plants get nourishment from soil in the roots. So what exactly happens? The cells in contact with the soil take up mineral ions such as magnesium or other phosphates or nitrogen, anything. This creates high concentration of ions in roots as compared to the soil. So now, due to osmosis, water moves from the soil into the roots to balance this ionic differences. This ensures a steady movement of water into the roots, creating a water column. But do you think this process is enough to move it to higher parts? What about the leaves situated in the highest part of the branch? How does the water move up to the xylem located on uppermost branch? So now let us see one example. What happens when we suck a straw? Cold drink enters our mouth. How? When we suck, we are reducing the pressure at the top of the straw. The cold drink at the bottom of the straw is at high pressure, so it flows up into our mouth. Same thing happens in plants. The pressure at the top of the xylem vessels in leaves is lowered, whereas at bottom in roots it remains high. So, simply water will flow upwards. But how can we lower pressure in the xylem located at the topmost branch of the tree? The answer is simple, through transpiration. So what is transpiration? The evaporation of water from the stomata of the leaves of a plant is called transpiration. Recall the stomatal structure in leaf as seen in previous videos. It is a pore surrounded by two guard cells. Now, this pore during daytime remains open and water evaporates, which is known as transpiration. Now, how exactly transpiration is going to help? The cells of leaf are losing water by transpiration. So, water from xylem vessels, which is already present in the leaf, will travel to these cells by osmosis to make up this loss, and this process occurs continuously. So what will happen? This creates a sucking effect which reduces pressure at the top so that water flows up into them from the soil. Thus, transpiration from the cells of a leaf creates a kind of suction which pulls up water through the xylem vessels, which makes the transport of water and mineral ions from the soil possible. That's all for this video. Please make sure to like, share and subscribe our videos. Comments and suggestions are most welcome. Thank you.